Okay. Hi again. My name is Jordan Chancey, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's July right now, so it's been a little bit since I made my last video. And I know that I kind of said that I was going to make some more, and then I didn't for a long time, and so I think a lot of people just thought I wasn't going to make any more, but I decided to make another one. And my last video, I got like so much support on, which I was honestly like so shocked about how many people saw that video. I think like 3,000 saw it. And I got, dozens of people like DMing me and texting me saying that somebody had showed it to them and how much like it had helped them. And so honestly, it was overwhelming. The amount of people that saw that video. I loved it. I loved seeing that. I think it like scared me a little bit because I didn't realize how many people were actually going to be seeing these. I think that I thought that it was going to be like a much smaller reaction. So, that's kind of like why I haven't been back in a while, is because I felt like I didn't really have anything like good to say after that video, because to be honest with you, like, and a lot of people who deal with grief know this, that like strength comes in like very, very short increments or like very short waves. So like, honestly, like before that video, probably like 30 minutes before, I don't really remember, I was probably like drowning in like grief, and then like I pick myself up for 30 minutes and decide that I can make a video, and that looks really inspiring, and then like I'm depressed again. So I think I've struggled with like wanting to be authentic and not want to seem like I have it all together, because I don't. And like these past probably 6 months since I made that video have just been like awful and like really, really hard. And like my family was encouraging me to make more videos, and like a lot of you guys were, and I just felt kind of like it would not be authentic because I did not have anything good to say like about God and the way that I felt about him, about like grief and like how terrible it is. Like I didn't have anything inspiring to say. I didn't have any like nice words to put out there, so I just kind of was like putting off making another video. But I also remember that that's like the whole reason that I started making these, was because I think that it would be like a really cool thing to have somebody telling you the truth like in the middle of grief, not afterwards. So I'm back, and I'm going to be making more videos more regularly, talking about like what my mom and I have gone through losing my dad. But to give you a recap, if you didn't watch the first video, I lost my dad suddenly from a heart attack in November, and I was the one that found him at our house. So it's just my mom and I, and basically the last almost 8 months have been like a living hell trying to get through all of this. And I made a video talking about like our grief and what we've been going through, and I wanted to continue doing that with these videos, so that's what I'm catching up on. But basically in the last 6 months I've just been trying to like move forward. I decided that I was gonna attend the University of Georgia, which has been nice because I'll be close to my mom. My best friend's going there, so it'll be good. Some good things have happened, and then also some like really, really hard things have happened, like coronavirus hit and I wasn't able to graduate, and my prom got delayed, and like I didn't know my last day at high school was my last day at high school. So like there have been hard things for sure. And I think probably the most prominent thing in my life, other than like my mom and I's relationship, is my struggle with like the Lord and where we stand. Because I know maybe like not all of you that are watching this video are religious, but I'm a Christian, and like my belief in Jesus is a very, very core part of like who I was before my dad passed away. And without my dad here, I've just kind of realized that like I don't know where I stand with God. And I think right away I wanted to like put a band-aid on that and make it look like I was optimistic, and like I believed in Jesus, I believed in his plan, and like I was okay with whatever he wanted to do. And like quickly I realized that like I am not okay with whatever he wants to do. This is so like it pissed me off. I was furious. I had to work through anger. I like accessed these like dark and angry parts of myself that I didn't even know were there, because of how angry I was with God at what he'd done. And I put the blame of like losing my dad on him. And I think that's what I wanted to make this video about today, is because like I want to say that I'm not through that yet. Like I'm still very much so in the middle of that, because like I don't know that I could ever not believe that Jesus is real. Like 100% of me believes that he's real, and that there is a heaven, and that like he sent his son to die for our sins. But all these other things that I used to believe were true, like that God is good and that God loves me, you know, those things have been challenged, because I went from feeling like, you know, my parents had this healthy marriage and like everything in my life was pretty much good growing up. Like they had a healthy marriage, you know, I had good friends, like I didn't really have problems with boys. I, you know, went to church. I like really liked my life, and then it felt like one day all of a sudden God didn't favor me anymore. And so I've been walking through that. And the other night I was at my friend's house. Her name's Ashlyn, and she was kind of like just talking me through my relationship with the Lord. She's a few years older than me, and honestly, like, she's one of the only people that I can really like ask these serious questions to. And so I started talking to her, and I was like, Ashlyn, I mean, like, I don't know how to move forward with the Lord. I want to, and I was like, I desperately want to. Like, I know that's what's missing in my life. I know that this emptiness and this hole that I feel is missing Jesus. Like, I know that that's what it is, and I know in my heart that's what it is. And I was like, but I, like, for the life of me, cannot figure out how to not be angry with him. I was like, I see other girls who have lost a parent, you know, years before me, and like how their relationships with the Lord have like prospered because of it, and I don't understand. I was like, I mean, like, I genuinely, I can't get it through my head, like, how to not be angry with him and not how to blame him for this. And I was just like, I mean, he could have stopped this and he didn't, and I don't know why. And I just don't feel like he loves me. I don't feel his love here. And one thing that she said to me that like has really like clung, like it's just latched on to me the past couple of days. And again, it doesn't fix everything, but she was just saying, like, one of these days you're gonna have to sit down and just choose what you believe. And she was like, and I know that for you, you do believe that Jesus is real, and I think at your core you believe that he loves you, but you just don't feel it. And she said, but here's the thing, Jordan, like, as Christians, we were not promised a fun life. We were not promised a happy life, you know, and that may sound dreary, but she's like, we weren't promised all those things. We weren't promised, you know, like, that all of our seasons were going to be joyful. And she was like, and I think, you know, that Jesus wants that for us. But she said, sin is real, and sin entered the world. And, you know, God allowed that sin to enter the world because he wanted us to choose him. And by choosing him, I also know that what we were promised was pain and sorrow, and that the devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy from us. And that's what he did. I mean, like, it wasn't God that stole my dad from me, you know? Like, it was the sin and the, like, devil that came and stole my dad from me, because sin is in the world. It's a very real thing. And that's not something that, like, sounds nice to me. That's not something that, like, makes me feel better, is that, like, oh, I'm promised that I'm gonna have really, really crappy days, you know? Like, that doesn't make me feel any better. That doesn't make anybody feel any better. But I think, I don't know. I mean, what hope do we have if the hope isn't Jesus? I don't know. I don't know that I could imagine a life where I live and I suffer and some sprinkled moments in between are joyful, but the rest of it is just kind of shitty, and then we die, you know? I don't see that as a way to live. You know, I don't want to live that way. I don't want to be bitter. I don't want to be jaded. I look at my mom, who is this, like, radiant, graceful, wonderful, wonderful, obedient human. And I look at her and I think about, like, my mom, this is not the first loss she's dealt with. I mean, like, it's one of many. My mom has had it rough, you know? I mean, like, and I look at her and honestly, like, I don't know. I've never looked up to someone so much. And I know what that is inside of her. I know that it's because, like, Jesus lives inside of her and she believes in him and she trusts him. And I know that, you know, losing her mom and losing her dad and losing her husband have, I mean, killed her on the inside. But then my mom wakes up every single day and she puts on her makeup and she does her hair, which sounds silly, but for somebody who is, you know, has lost someone, that is very impressive. Just to get up in the morning, she gets up, and not only does she get up, you know, she loves on me with this tenderness that, like, I mean, I have never experienced before. You know, she loves on me with grace. She loves on the people around her with patience. I mean, she's kind, and she's slow to speak, and she's very quick to listen. And I think about, like, all of those attributes, and I'm like, I know where that comes from. I know that it comes from the Lord. But still, I find myself not understanding how to get there. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we've got to make a choice. And that's what I keep on telling myself. I keep on coming back to this thing of, like, Jordan, You know, you got to make a choice, and it's not always going to be fun, but that's what faith is. It's like, it's choosing to believe in Jesus and to be obedient to him, even when you hate his plan, because I hate it. I hate this plan that is going on in my life right now. It's not that good things haven't come out of it, but none of these good things that have come out of losing my dad are nearly worth, not even close to worth having lost him. You know, I mean, like, I hate this plan, but it's the plan that I'm on, and like, I gotta walk the walk, you know? I mean, loving Jesus, we're gonna get, you know, the hardest of days, which we would have gotten anyway because we live in a sinful world, but we also get a great comfort that's the thing that's missing in my life, which, as I know, is his comfort. And when I do catch small glimpses of it, honestly, like right now I'm making this video because like I've had a really hard few days, but right now I feel like I can make this video. I feel like I have enough strength to do it. I know that that's him giving me this strength. But I miss that in general in my life. And I would say for like those of you that are going through something similar to I am, and it may not be a loss of like a dad, it may be a loss of a mom, it may be a loss of a different guardian, it may be a loss of like a friend, or it may be a loss of like a dream that you had or a hope that you had. It may be a letdown, it may be a loss of a trust in God, because I could certainly understand that. I think what I would say is that you don't have to feel better about it tomorrow or the next day, you know. I've had to give myself grace and time to try and even start thinking about having a relationship with Jesus again. I mean, it's been 8 months and I really haven't moved an inch. You got to give yourself time, you know, give yourself grace, but also, I mean, think about where your deepest joy comes from, where your deepest peace comes from, because I know that mine comes from the Lord. And then all we can do is look back at the Bible and see what he tells us, and look at the hope that he gives, and also look at the honesty that he brings. And he confronts the honesty of our situation. He says, look, there are going to be bad days, but there's going to be an incredible eternity. And the only thing I can tell you to do is to look to that. I mean, one of the verses in the Bible that I have like clung to the most, that like makes me think of my dad so much, and actually like I want to get it tattooed because I just love it. It's Psalms 30:11, and it says, "You have turned for me my mourning into dancing. You have loosened my sackcloth and clothed me with gladness." And I just love it. I mean, I don't always feel that way. I don't always feel like my mourning has turned into dancing, you know, like I pretty much mourn most of the time, but it's the hope that brings, is like my mourning will turn into dancing, and like you will loosen like these chains basically that I am held by, and you'll clothe me with gladness. Like those chains will come off, and what will come on is the gladness of my life, and like the gladness of having the Jesus in it. And I think that hope that it brings is what Jesus is all about, and that's what I'm going to cling to, is like not just the hope of you'll turn my mourning into dancing, but the hope of like I get to spend it forever with you, and I get to spend forever with my dad, you know, and like that this is so short, but that is so long, and like how lucky I am that I've been favored enough to be able to be with him forever. So I know that I might have rambled a bit there, but I just really care about this, and I wanted to relay that. I mean, yeah, I hope that this like reaches somebody out there who's going through something similar, because I know that God made you angry, you know, like, and I'm having to build up trust again too. Like, I don't completely trust him, but I'm trying with small things. I'm trying to move forward, and I just think that that's the only thing that's going to bring us an overwhelming peace. Even if I don't like it, even if I wish that it could be some other way, it's Jesus, you know? So yeah, I hope that this connected with somebody. And if you feel like somebody would benefit from this, I like urge you to send it to them, not to like it's not anything for me, you know, to get attention, but after the last video, I really felt like I got some good feedback, and I felt like it helped some people just to know that they weren't alone. So just for that reason only, just if you know somebody that could use this, I would really encourage you to send it to them. And yeah, I will be back very, very soon. But yeah, thank you.